You think they'll always be there. You assume it. You laugh at the thought. But one day, in a random moment, the truth hits like a freight train. Your parents will die before you. And suddenly, the ground under your feet disappears. It starts small. A cough, a pause, a glare that seems sharper than usual, a memory of a hospital visit you forgot to worry about. And then suddenly you see it, their fragility. The hands that carried you, they tremble now. The shoulders that held your world, they bend. And your chest tightens because you understand they are not invincible, never were. You notice the gray hair you didn't see yesterday, the slight hesitation before they climb stairs, the tired smile that no longer hides the fatigue. Ordinary moments that used to be invisible now scream at you. This won't last. And it's terrifying because the people who built your life, who gave you love, who made you feel safe, will not be there. You realize one day you will walk into a room and they won't be there. Their voice will be gone, their touch, their presence, forever. You start noticing things, the small habits, the routines, the little quirks that felt eternal, their laughter when you said something dumb, their scolding when you messed up, the way they folded clothes, the way they poured tea. Every little thing becomes a relic, a tiny monument of time borrowed. And guilt hits you first. The selfish relief you felt when they nagged you, the arguments you ignored, the eye rolls, the impatience, the times you took their presence for granted. You realize you never loved them as you should have, not fully, not consciously, and it eats at you. You start watching them, not in a creepy way, not out of obsession, you just notice the way they move, the way they eat, the way they talk, the small cracks, and every crack is a reminder that nothing is permanent, that one day those cracks will become empty spaces. You notice how quickly life moves, how days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly they aren't standing in the doorway anymore, laughing at something meaningless, holding the world together for you. And you weren't ready. You never can be. You realize too late that time is your enemy, that every ordinary day is a gift you didn't ask for, and every wasted moment is a stolen opportunity to say, I love you, I need you, please stay. And here's the cruelest truth, you can't stop it, you can't bargain, you can't freeze time. You can only sit there helpless while life slowly takes them away, while you carry the knowledge of mortality like a stone in your chest, heavy and unrelenting. You start to fear the silence, the quiet moments when they aren't talking, when they aren't laughing, when they aren't there. You realize that the absence you fear is coming, and every joke, every hug, every I love you delayed now feels like a failure. You imagine the day when you wake up and reach for them and they aren't there. And that day doesn't come quietly. It comes with echoes of every missed opportunity, every ignored warning, every time you assumed forever was guaranteed. You realize how fragile everything is, how the people who felt eternal are just as human as you, that the life you relied on, the love you assumed is borrowed, temporary, and one day it will vanish. And suddenly you understand childhood is a lie. The safety you assumed, the permanence, the certainty, it was never real. You are always walking on borrowed time. And they are too. And the truth, that knowledge will haunt you forever. You notice the small moments again, the way they fix your hair, laugh at your jokes, tease you relentlessly. Every mundane thing becomes sacred, every argument meaningless, every hug precious, every smile fleeting. You see them differently because you know what's coming. And that's the terror, the quiet, relentless terror that one day you will be alone, not just alone in the house, alone in the world that once felt safe because of them, alone carrying the memories, the lessons, the love, the pain, alone with their absence screaming at you. You think about the things you never said, the apologies you postponed, the love you didn't express, the gratitude you kept inside, and suddenly it all feels urgent. Every word, every gesture, every moment now matters more than life itself. You notice how selfish you were, how much you assumed, how much you thought time would wait for you, but time doesn't wait. Death doesn't negotiate. You cannot prepare for it. You can only feel it, the slow, creeping, inevitable truth that your parents, your anchors, your constants will not be here. You start imagining the days ahead, holidays without them, birthdays they will miss, the advice they will never give, the stories that will die with them, and the thought hits harder than anything else. The world will feel colder, stranger, emptier, because the people who made it feel like home will be gone. And you can't change it. You can't prevent it. You can only love harder, hold closer, speak sooner, And even then, you know the clock is ticking, and the clock will always win. So now, every day, you live with the weight of it. You notice more, you care more, you fight the helplessness, but the truth remains, they will die before you. And one day, you will have to survive without them. And the realization doesn't come gently. It comes like fire in your chest, like a punch to the gut, like a scream in a silent room. You will carry it with you forever. And that knowledge changes everything. The moment you realize they're gone, the world changes forever. You don't notice it at first. You wake up expecting their voice, their laughter, their presence to fill the house. But it doesn't. Silence greets you. A silence so heavy it presses down on your chest and leaves you gasping. You walk through the rooms, half expecting them to appear, calling your name, teasing you, asking you the same questions they always did, but there is nothing. Only absence. And suddenly absence is louder than any presence you've ever known. Every object in the house becomes a monument to their existence. The chair they always sat in, the cup they left on the counter, the coat hung carelessly on the door. Everything is ordinary, everything is screaming their absence. And then the memories hit. Not the big ones, not the stories you'll retell to friends, the small ones. The laughs over nothing, the way they fixed your hair, the way they sighed when they were tired. Every ordinary moment, ordinary gesture, now carved into your heart like a dagger. Guilt arrives next, uninvited. Every time you rolled your eyes, every time you snapped, every time you assumed they would always be there, it crashes into you like a wave. You think, I wasn't ready. I didn't love enough. I didn't notice them fully. And the truth is, you never will be ready. You notice the cruel paradox. The world goes on. Friends joke, strangers talk, the sun rises. Everyone else continues like nothing has happened. But for you, the universe has cracked open. The constants of your life have vanished, leaving you floating in a void that doesn't care. You begin replaying the last moments over and over. The last conversation, the last argument, the last hug you didn't give. Every interaction you took for granted now weighs tons. You scream silently, why didn't I tell them I love them? Why didn't I listen more? Why didn't I hold on longer? You notice how grief sneaks into every moment. Sitting down, standing up, breathing, everything reminds you of absence. You reach for them and find only air. You call their name in your head and hear nothing. You walk into rooms expecting them and find only ghosts. You realize the permanence of loss. You finally understand that death is not negotiable. It does not wait for preparation, for apologies, for reconciliation. It comes. And when it does, it takes everything you relied on, leaving you exposed, hollow, and raw. You begin noticing the empty spaces everywhere. The chair they always occupied, the meals they always made, the small routines that shaped your world all vanished. Ordinary life, once background noise, now screams absence. You are hyper-aware of every silence, every pause, every missing heartbeat. And anger creeps in. Anger at the unfairness, anger at the universe, anger at yourself for not holding on tighter, anger at time for being relentless, cruel, unstoppable. You want to yell, to scream, to break something, but nothing matters. Nothing can bring them back. You notice how grief consumes your body as well as your mind. Sleepless nights, hollow mornings, eating without taste, moving without purpose. Every action is haunted by the reality that they are gone, that they will never return. Every heartbeat echoes with absence. You replay all the small moments in your head, the advice ignored, the jokes missed, the smiles taken for granted. You curse yourself for all of it. And still the world expects you to function, to breathe, to carry on, but you carry a weight no one else can see. You begin noticing how ordinary life mocks you. The street outside, the neighbors chatting, the sun shining, all continue, indifferent. Life does not pause for grief. Life does not wait for you to catch up. It moves on while your world is fractured, hollow, and silent. You notice the paradoxical nature of memory. You want them back, yet you relive every memory like it's a knife. their laughter, their voice, their hands, comforting yet stabbing reminders of absence. You realize memories are cruel. They're all you have, and all they do is remind you of what you've lost. You start seeing the world differently. Small annoyances seem meaningless. Arguments fade. Priorities shift. Life without them teaches you that everything else is secondary, trivial, temporary. You carry their absence with you everywhere. Every room, every street, every day is a reminder that permanence is a lie. You notice how survival is hollow. Living continues, but joy feels muted. Happiness arrives reluctantly, always tempered by memory, by absence, by the ghost of what you had. You understand that life after loss is endurance, not celebration. Every moment is negotiation with grief. You realize the cruelest truth. No one prepares you for this. No one teaches you how to navigate a world where the people who defined your existence vanish. You are left alone with your grief, learning to survive absence, learning to breathe in silence. You notice the small things you will never experience again. Their voice calling your name, their touch, their laughter, their advice, their guidance. Every ordinary thing is now impossible. Every mundane memory is now sacred. Every heartbeat is haunted. You begin to understand the depth of love. Not in the moments of presence, but in absence. You learn that love never truly leaves. It lingers, shadows your thoughts, whispers in memories, shapes who you are, and it aches constantly. And slowly, inevitably, life teaches you to carry it, to endure it, to breathe despite it, to move forward with their absence etched into every step, every decision, every breath. You survive not because the world is kind, but because you must. Because absence is relentless, and you cannot stop it. You notice how grief transforms ordinary things, meals, walks, holidays, birthdays, all colored by the shadow of what is gone. Even joy is haunted. Even laughter carries echoes. Life is now a dialogue between presence and absence always answers first. You realize fully, painfully, that survival is not victory. Endurance is not triumph. Life does not compensate for loss. And yet, you continue, because you are alive. And being alive now carries the responsibility of remembering, honoring, and carrying forward what was taken. You notice how absence teaches you more than presence ever could. You see fragility, mortality, the fleeting nature of love, life, and connection. You carry knowledge most never confront. The people who gave you everything are gone, and you are left to live in the world they shaped, but now without them. And so you wake up each day knowing the truth. They are gone. They will not return. And the world continues. Life goes on. The universe does not pause, and you are left with memory, grief, and the relentless, inescapable echo of absence. Life doesn't stop when they're gone. The world continues like nothing has happened. Friends laugh, strangers talk, the sun rises and sets, the seasons change, but for you, everything is fractured. Everything is hollow. Everything is haunted by absence. You notice how ordinary things now carry unbearable weight. Birthdays are quieter. Holidays are lonelier. Even small routines, the meals they cooked, the morning coffee, the way they used to check on you, all scream their absence. You can feel the hollow where their presence used to be. Memories are both blessing and curse. You reach for them, seeking comfort, but every memory is edged with pain. The way they laughed, the stories they told, the advice they gave, the way their eyes lit up when they saw you, all gone. And all you can do is carry it, painfully, eternally. You replay conversations that no longer have answers, the things you wished you had said, the apologies you never gave, the hugs you skipped, the laughter you didn't join. Every moment you took for granted now pierces like a blade. You curse yourself endlessly because time doesn't wait, and absence is permanent. You notice the hollow feeling that settles into your chest. Loneliness isn't just sadness. It's a physical weight. It sits on your shoulders, coils around your ribs, twists in your gut. And nothing, no distraction, no new experience, no conversation can erase it. You realize how fleeting life truly is. People vanish without warning. Mortality is relentless. The anchors of your existence are no longer anchors. They are shadows, memories, lessons, scars. And you are left to navigate a world that feels unsteady, unsafe, and incomplete. You notice how grief changes everything. Simple things, laughter, food, music, even your own heartbeat are tinged with absence. Joy becomes temporary, fleeting. Every smile carries a whisper of what's missing. Every ordinary day carries the invisible weight of what you've lost. You begin to see life differently. Priorities shift. Trivial problems no longer matter. Fights, minor frustrations, meaningless worries, they fade. You are forced to confront the truths that matter: mortality, love, connection, and the fragility of everything you hold dear. You notice how absence is everywhere. In photographs, in letters, in clothing, in voices remembered. The world is littered with reminders of what you've lost. Even strangers carry traces of memory. Someone laughing like them, someone sighing like them, someone calling your name in a crowd only to realize it's gone. And still, you live. Because survival doesn't stop for grief. Life doesn't pause for loss. And so you breathe, move, speak, and exist in a world that feels incomplete, haunted, and broken. Every action carries the ghost of their absence. Every success is muted. Every joy is tempered by memory. You notice how their death shapes your relationships. Every hug, every word, every connection becomes precious. You cling tighter, listen longer, care deeper, because absence has taught you the unbearable lesson that nothing lasts and everyone you love could vanish tomorrow. You realize the permanence of grief. It doesn't fade. It doesn't disappear. It becomes part of you, a shadow, a companion, a silent witness. And sometimes it weighs so heavily that you wonder if life is worth continuing, if joy is ever possible, if absence will always win. You notice how the world expects you to move on. Friends, family, society, they say time heals. They offer platitudes. They don't understand. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is learning to breathe with the weight of absence pressing down on you every day. You start finding meaning in small ways, the way you honor their memory, the way you carry forward their lessons, the way you love others more deeply, more fiercely, because you know what it means to lose. Every act of love, every moment of care becomes sacred. And yet, absence remains. The hollow chest, the quiet dinners, the empty seats, the unanswered questions, the lost advice, the voices that no longer echo. You learn to live with it, carry it, survive it, and honor it. Even when it threatens to crush you, you notice how their death changes you forever. You are stronger, more aware, more sensitive, but you are also fragile, haunted, forever marked by the permanence of loss. Every memory is a gift and a curse. Every presence that follows is compared, silently, to what was lost. You realize life is cruel, yes, but also beautiful in fleeting, impossible ways. Love is powerful because it can be lost, presence is precious because it is temporary, and memory is sacred because it allows you to carry what is gone. But every day you are reminded that absence is the only certainty. You notice that survival itself is both triumph and torment. You live, you breathe, you move forward, but the people who shaped your world, who built your foundation, who loved you unconditionally, they are gone, and you must endure life without them. You learn to carry absence with you, to honor it, to respect it, to let it shape who you are without letting it destroy you. You understand that life is a series of impermanent presences, punctuated by the cruel permanence of absence. And in that understanding, you find a strange, painful clarity. And finally, you notice how love and grief coexist. You love them still, even though they are gone. And grief, as sharp as it is proof that love existed at all, that their presence mattered, that they shaped you, even if only for a time, that you are changed forever. You live with it, you endure it, you carry it, and in doing so, you understand the unbearable truth. Life is fleeting, death is permanent, love is finite, and absence is inescapable. And yet, in spite of all that, you continue Because survival is the only tribute left, because memory is the only inheritance, because living is the only way to honor them. If this resonates with you, don't just scroll past, subscribe, like, and share. Join those who face truths no one else dares to see, because surviving is hard, but ignoring reality is harder. And here's the next step. If life has taught you that we waste so much energy caring about things that don't matter, then you need to watch this next video. You care too much about things that don't matter. Learn how to stop giving power to the meaningless and start focusing on what truly shapes your life, because time is limited and absence is permanent.